Thanks very much. Well, it's a bit of a showbiz tradition to start with the song, so I'll... if you could do that for me, that'd be great. Could you come up? That was a joke, sorry. Right. Sorry about that. No, don't worry, I'm not one of these performers who patronises their audiences. I'd never do that, boys and girls, because it's cheap. Hey, you're beautiful. Right, so... Hey, you're beautiful. Hey. It's great to be in Manchester. Apparently these days, if you want to do stand-up comedy, you have to talk about sex, religion and flying. Well, frankly, I'm going to talk about things that happened to me. I was coming up here tonight on the plane and sitting beside the Pope. Fucked him. Only joking, didn't really. Catholic, for God's sake. It was oral sex, come on.
Oh, you can't see me, can you? Hang on. Here I am. Yeah, I like to get this out of the way fairly sharpish. You've obviously noticed, haven't you, that I didn't grow up to be exactly what you'd call anorexic. Now, that is, in fact, completely wrong. I am anorexic, because anorexic people look in the mirror and think they look fat. And so do I, so I must be. And actually, my weight problem got a lot worse when I went on the pill. So that proved to be a very effective contraceptive.
I like any Turtles fans in. What do you mean? Oh, you're one, mate. You can tell by the hair, really, can't you? Yeah. I like them. In case you haven't seen, no one's seen the film. Yeah. It's good, isn't it good? Yeah. People are going, oh. But we know, don't we? No, I like it. It's all about this. There's a Chinese rat, right? One-eared Chinese rat called Splinter, right? I think he's called that because he ran the 100 metres for China when he was a kid. And people are explaining that to each other all over the audience. See, I've got you talking now, which is always good. And anyway, he's owned, this one-eared rat, he's owned by a ninja. Right, not a ginger, a ninja. Oh. You know, all the old... Right, and he watches his master practising all day, you know. As they do. And he picks it up, that the rat actually learns to do it as well, which is a bit far-fetched, I suppose. But it could happen. That's my impression. So then he decides he's going to teach these skills, you know, to other creatures. Because, I mean, he looks in the mirror one day, I mean, he's a rat, for goodness sake. He's in the mirror, he's got nasty, greasy whiskers, you know, and big yellow teeth and bad breath. He thinks, well, teaching. It's obviously really, isn't it? Oh, that'll be all round the playground tomorrow, won't it? It's a bit unfair, really. I mean, I've got a bit of a soft spot for teachers, really. No, I haven't. I hate them. And now there's some in tonight, are there? They're all hiding, but we can tell, can't we? We can see the light catching their elbow pads. It's always a bit of a giveaway. So anyway, Splinter, he decides to teach these skills. So he needs to find some creatures, right? So he goes down the sewer. Not a great idea, perhaps, but a lot safer than your average comprehensive, I would have thought. Even for a ninja, in fact. And down there, he finds 4 turtles covered in shit. How did they get there, we ask ourselves. And I think the moral is, if you're going to eat turtles, chew them. Yeah. Oh, no, I always do, I know, yeah. You won't find any turtles in my U-Ben, I'll tell you. A few crabs on the seat, but that's another thing. I'm terribly sorry, really. I'm trying to put together a clean family show, but it's like there's a little man inside me, you know. Not every night, but... maybe tonight, mate, eh? So, anyway... old Splinter, he goes... There he is, one ear, Chinese, a rat, goes down the sewer, and there are 4 turtles covered in shit, so immediately he thinks, well, I'll name these after Renaissance painters, right? As you would, yeah? So now there's 5 of them, right? He's the only one that isn't named after a painter, and he's got 1 ear. Missed a bit of a chance there, I think. And he gives them these scarves to wear with holes in, right, so they won't be recognised. He's a clever, he's obviously quite a sharp bloke, really. So if I want to see a lot of fat, slimy reptiles wearing ridiculous scarves, you know, I'll go to Old Trafford. I'm dead now. I'm dead outside.
Like, I used to play football as a kid, nothing professional. I played for Leeds. And... No, it was good. But no, you used to always be lined up waiting to be picked for the team, like, and you didn't want to be the last one picked for the team, because then everyone knew you were a wimp, like, you know, so you was there lined up kind of trying to bribe them, saying, I'll give you some chewing gum if you don't pick me last. Bit of a dodgy knee, you know, lads, this week. I don't know if they'll pick me too quickly. And the two captains there kind of go, Gizzo, my side. Wizzo, we love you, mate. Tizzo, our side. And I knew I hadn't got a chance of getting picked, like, you know, because my nickname was Wanker, you know. Wanker over here, I'll play golf if you want, guys. I'm really good at golf. Sharon, no, my side. Debbie, oh, my side. Say, sorry, Sean, you can't play today. There's an odd number. Why don't you piss off? Yeah, fair enough. I'll go home, so I'll write some poetry or something. I'll bring my dog for a walk. Come on, Patch, let's go. We don't need you. I go, Sean, yeah? Patch is picked.
It looks to me like most of you are about roughly my age. Most of you would have gone to school about the same time as me, about 8:30, 8:45, something like that. You know? And most of you would have gone to school with like a sports bag, like an Adidas bag or a Puma bag or something like that. And as you're a bit poorer, then you had ones from Woolworths that said, football! Or tennis! Hockey! Because they spoke for some reason, these bags. And then, if you're a little bit poorer than that, you had, like, cheap, sort of tacky ones from a toy shop with, like, Tipp-Ex on the side. And they said, sport. That's what I play, sport. Because I've got no friends, see, I'll play any sport, nothing specific. You ask, I'll play, I've got no friends. Your mum and dad don't like me, so they gave me this one, sport. It's my favourite subject at school, I really like it. Sport, you know. They said, here, son, go to school and you can play sport, you know, and that's what you do. And so that was a bit sad. And then after that, the next one down the rung like, was a cheap Tesco's carrier bag or something like that. And this was your big social distinction at school. People could look at you and straight away know how much money you had. And it was that and what you brought at Harvest Festival. Because like Harvest Festival, the rich kids would really make a meal of that day, wouldn't they? I don't mean make a meal, you know, but they'd get there early with a big tin of John West salmon chunks. Like they'd be sat in the class, everyone filing in, they'd be going, look at that. John West salmon. We have it home all the time. I'm giving it away to people more needy than me. Look at that. Let's go and put it in. Hold on. Someone at the back of the class hasn't seen it. John West. Tin fish. It's really nice, eh? And then they'd go up, do a lap of honour around the school, and then they'd go and put it in and everything. And then the rest of us, everyone in this room, you'd sort of go up with a half tin of Gateway's own brown baked beans in your pocket and sort of sidle up, you know, you'd be a bit embarrassed, and you'd go and quickly put it in and you go, oh, that was mine, salmon. Yeah, that was mine. And it was that option, or you'd go up with, like, your packet of figs that you've had in the larder for 4 Christmases, you know. Going, oh, the old people won't notice, they'll love that, yeah. And you'd walk up and you'd put it in, and then you go, oh, John West, I'll have that. Yeah, that'll do that.
Now, I get the feeling from you, you're a bit of a politically motivated audience tonight, aren't you, up here? I can tell. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to have to talk about John Major. I am. Yes. Because to me, John Major is the feminine hygiene equivalent of a panty liner, isn't he? Don't you think? And it's something I'm very worried about. You know, I'm worried about panty liners at the moment because I'd like to know why women go out and buy them when they could be out buying beer and fags like I do. I can't understand it. You can't get pissed on a panty liner. That's my motto. So don't buy them. Besides, you know, what was wrong with those navy blue baggy knickers we used to wear at school? Absolutely nothing. Because they had a double gusset, which would protect you from the blast of an all-out nuclear attack. And you could get your mum shopping in them on the way home, so they were great. And yet, the worst thing about panty liners is the name. It's rubbish, isn't it? It's absolute rubbish. Why can't they call them something nice? Like fairy hammocks, for example. And, you know, let's be perfectly honest about this. Most of today's knickers are so small you couldn't actually get a fairy hammock into them, could you? I've tried. I actually think everyone's got two different types of knickers, really. The type you don't mind showing to people. Keeping quiet out there, good. And the type you wish you'd buried 6 feet underground with a wooden stake through them. Thank you, madam. Now, you see, women have got two types of knickers. The first type are black, made of lace and the size of an atom. Whereas the second type, of course, are grey, the size of Buckinghamshire, and you have to spray a hell of a lot of Charlie on them before you can wear them anywhere.
Oh, I've had not a very... I'm glad 1990's out of the way because it was... I don't know how it was for you, it was bad for me. I knew it was going to be bad because back in February I caught a wreath at a funeral. That's bad luck, you know. And everything... No, it is. And everything went down the pan after that, really. I split up with me girlfriend. It was... Yeah, it was... I was going out with the typical Birmingham girl, you know. She used to give a little dab of Canal number 5. And she dumped me, and we had a big argument. Oh, dear. We argued about who kept the Dire Straits albums, you know. She had her own way, and I had to keep them. That was bad news, I must say. But then I failed my driving test, which was also, I mean, really bad. Anyone learning to drive here? No. It's worrying that people are learning to drive who can't speak, in fact. And I had a lot of problems with that, because the bloke who was teaching me to drive, he got a very direct manner, you know. He'd say, turn left, Frank, and I turn left. Turn right, I turn right, no problem. But the examiner was very posh. Oh, dear. Sort of bloke that got out of the bath to have a piss, really. He was. No, he was. And he had the old clipboard and all this, and he was saying stuff like, would you like to turn left here, Mr. Skinner? And I thought it was optional. So I said, no, I don't think so. It's a bastard of a junction down the bottom there. Nearly killed somebody last week, which was kind of... So that went pretty bad. And then the bit where he asked you the questions, he said, what would you check before setting out on a long journey, you know? I said, sandwiches, bus pass, you know, the usual stuff. He said, what would you do if you were dazzled by the headlights of a car coming in the opposite direction? I said, I think I'd probably go, oh, God!
Now, I have to tell you something else about myself, actually. I'm not married. Surprise, surprise, eh? And to be honest, at 33, I'm getting desperate now. What I'd actually love to do is I'd love to go on blind date just to really piss the bloke off when the screen went back. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Hi. And I did actually go on a blind date once. It was strange. I'd phoned up a friend of mine and some bloke was staying there. We got talking and he said to me, you sound nice. Wrong. Do you fancy meeting up for a date? So I said, yeah, great. And we arranged to meet at Euston Station. And so that I could identify him, he said he'd be carrying a bunch of daffodils and wearing his army uniform. Yum. So I had to think pretty quickly, so I said I'd be standing outside the men's toilets, dribbling and masturbating. And he turned up, but I think you all know what Euston Station is like. Thankfully, there was just so many of us dribbling and masturbating outside the men's toilets that he ended up with this bloke called Reg from Hull, so it all went very well, really.
Because I actually had a gay uncle. You know the way we all have a relative, your parents say, don't go near your Uncle Jerry. Well, ours was Uncle Jerry, like, and I used to call to the door, ringing the doorbell, and Mum's there going, it's your Uncle Jerry, don't go near your Uncle Jerry. She used to speak like that all the time, really freaked us out at times, actually. And then, like, every time Uncle Jerry would come in with his sweets and say, don't go near him, it's your Uncle Jerry, don't go near him. But I thought he was great fun. He used to sit me on his lap and tell me about the bees and the bees. It was a bit of a laugh himself. Because actually, just recently, my little brother came out of the closet. So what the hell are you doing in there? Get out, your dinner's ready. Get out, your dinner is ready. Face the world. Because I hate younger brothers. Like, they're such a pain. They want to play with you. They kind of go, can I play? And you're going, get off and play with people your own age. And your parents make you play with them, like, you know. And he was terrible at games. I played cops and robbers with him once and he grassed on me, like, you know. Just do 3 years in Borstal. It wasn't funny, actually. But I used to get him back, because late at night when he went to the toilet, I'd wait and see he was just about to come outside, and I'd go, boo! Anyone else do that? You probably didn't know him, did you? But I'd go, boo! And he'd go, oh, God, I thought it was a burglar. Because that's what burglars do. Oh, they're always there saying, right, we have the video. Oh, hang on a second, there's someone in the toilet. This is a laugh. Boo, burglars.
And Mrs. Thatcher's gone now, and I thought that was a bit sad. I did. You didn't, but I did. Because I wanted her to go, but not that way, you know. No, I had my heart set on an assassination. But
and you see, that's one thing actually that I like about women, is that when you get women together in a big group, even if they're a bit pissed, on the whole, they don't tend to be violent. But I have to say, actually, I changed my mind recently when I watched the last Tory party conference, because there they all were. All these old bats from Surrey, baying for the death penalty. And it actually made me think, you know, you can divide women that vote Tory into two groups, really. You've got the sort of 65-year-old battle axe who's married to a retired pit bull terrier. And then you've got the ones I really hate. They're the young women that vote Tory, because they model themselves on Princess Diana. Same two CSEs. Anorexia and crass stupidity, if you want to know what they are. Oh, good Lord, we've got a load of royalists in tonight, haven't we? Hooray. Or have we got a big group of sociologists at the back going, no, you can't do that. You can't split them into two broad groups like that. It's not on. So I always say, all right, then, there is actually something that all women that vote Tory do have in common, and that's that they all deserve a good kick in the fanny from me.
One thing about Americans, they say and shit at the end of every sentence. For no reason. You say, excuse me, could you tell me where's a good restaurant, please? Sure, up the road and shit. Save it for later, it'll be okay. But as I said, I used to work for the tourist board in Dublin, and they'd come in and I'd say, yes, can I help you? And say, we're looking for our ancestors. And I'd say, oh, sorry, they died 400 or 500 years ago. Sorry to break the bad news to you. And shit.
you know, you get these bus seats where you sit opposite people, and a bloke sneezed all over me. Yeah, exactly. I said, I think this is yours, mate. Didn't want it back. Generous type, really. And it reminded me, because it was my dad used to do these really big sneezes, these ones that come with a 2-minute warning. And this is very handy, because it gave us a chance to do stuff like put the food into Tupperware containers, put the stamp collection away, and get Macintoshes on the small children, And when he finally let it go, he didn't put his hands in front. He just and the spray was, oh dear. It was like the opening credits to a YE50 in Ireland. We used to have to squeegee the walls down after my dad had sneezed. Or was that after he'd farted? Anyway, it wasn't until I went out into the big wide world, that for the first time I met middle-class people, and they're all right. I like them. No, they are. But they've got some very funny habits, haven't they? And one of the things is their sneezing is a bit odd, isn't it? And I was with this bloke, and he was saying to me, yes, Frank, oh, forgive me, oh dear, got a bit of a cold. Oh. And I thought, that bloke's just eating a chaffinch, hasn't he? He said, I'm terribly... He's eaten another one. I thought perhaps he got a bag under the tank. Very odd.
And one thing I think is needed in this country is a decent agony aunt, really, don't you? Because they're rubbish, aren't they? They are. Claire Rainey, you know, you write to her, "Dear Claire, my entire family's just died of cancer, what shall I do?" And she says, "Knit yourself a scarf and you'll feel better." What a wanky old trout that woman is, isn't she? So I'm going to be a down-to-earth, pragmatic agony aunt. That's what I'm going to be. And I've been practising, and I'm going to start with a problem I found in the News of the World, actually. So we'll all have to step down the old evolutionary ladder a bit to understand it, but see what you think. This one says, "Dear Unity, whenever I put on my daughter's slimline Wellington boots, I get very sexually excited. Is this wrong? I'm 52 and recently widowed." Well, you see, what Unity actually says in reply is, no, it's not wrong, but it would be better to find yourself a new man because a man is much more fun than a Wellington boot. Well, Unity, I'm afraid I beg to differ there. And I think that's that one sorted out, isn't it? Fine. Now, I've got a couple here as well from my favourite mag, which is Weekend magazine, which is superb. You must read it because the people that write in are balmy. Completely. Like this one here. "Dear David, I am a police constable." That's not actually the problem, it does go on after that. "Dear David, I am a police constable, and following an affair with a woman police constable, I have a very painful swelling in my testicle." Well, all I have to say to that, really, is good. And that's that one sorted as well, isn't it? Fine. Now, this final letter is my favourite. I have to say, I love this letter because this man, he's had it, really, up top. Because he wrote in and said, Dear David, sorry. He wrote in and said, "Dear David, I was very upset by the answer you gave to a woman from Grimsby last week, saying she had vaginal thrush. Grimsby is a respectable town. And we most certainly do not have venereal diseases here." Well, I was actually doing a gig in Grimsby not so long ago, and I can reassure you now that they do. So, that's all right, isn't it?
Good evening. Good evening. I might as well tell you before we start that I was a last-minute booking for this. Tory Wogan was supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it. But he faxed me through his script, so I'll try and do it justice. I think it went something like this. Hello, and welcome to Wogan. And on tonight's show, I'm going to be buggering Alsatians. And shagging pigs. Because the devil's taken over me so. It's true. I was in my attic the other night, and I was looking through the book of Revelations. And I came across this passage, and it said, "Let he who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast." 40 is a human number, and its number is 660.
I am Beelzebub, father of all things evil. Your mother cooks socks in hell.
Oh dear. I don't know what possessed me.